Good luck. Are you all right?
Morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Adam Washer. I'm the Senior Project Manager here at Hilltop Roofing. I just want to say, as a team, we're truly honored to be here, and we're very excited to present to you guys today. We're here today to present to you guys our proposal for the Las Vegas Grand Prix Formula One East Paddock Building roof, and let's get right into it. I'm going to start off with a little introduction of our wonderful team here at the Hilltop. From left to right in the photo, you have myself, Adam Washer, Senior Project Manager. Then we have Tyler Pylon, our QA/QC Manager. Ty Spillane, our Safety Coordinator. Attilio Lovato, our Superintendent. And Uriel De La Torre, who is our Project Manager, and he's on another project of ours. Moving on to a little history about the Hilltop Company. We were founded back in 1972 by Christy Willis. Christy's construction career began in the early 60s. She started out as a roofing apprentice and worked her way up to superintendent. As superintendent, she realized if she really wanted to make a difference doing what she loved, roofing, she would have to start something on her own, and born was Hilltop. Christy retired last year. She gets to spend her time out on her ranch riding her horses and out in the water. Her son, Brian Willis, took over CEO duties last year, and he continues to grow the company on the 4 core values that Christy instilled in us. Those 4 core values are safety, inclusion, integrity, and quality. Starting off with safety, safety really is our culture here at Hilltop. Every project that we're involved in, we ask ourselves 3 questions. How are our employees going to be safe? How is our client going to be safe? And how is the public going to be safe? We really breathe safety here at Hilltop, and we pride ourselves in our safety program. Next, we have inclusion. We believe a diverse workplace is a stronger workplace. We love bringing in people with different backgrounds, different ethnicities, because it allows us as a team to see things in a different perspective, and we believe that makes us stronger. Next, we have integrity. When we say we're going to do something, we do it right. We do it the first time, we do it the right way. Last but not least, we have quality. At Hilltop, we really do pride ourselves on our work, and our roofers agree with us, and they all make sure to stay on our standards, our high standards. Moving into some past projects that we've been involved on that are similar to this one, starting off with SLG Properties, which is a headquarters office tower in downtown Manhattan. That project consisted of a SIP-Glass 2-ply system with Hanover Guardian pavers. The most intense part of that project was that it took place during the year 2020. We all know the struggles that came with 2020, but the Hilltop team was able to jump through the COVID hoops and get the project done on time and in a timely fashion. Next, we have Terrace 16 Rooftop Restaurant and Bar, which is located in Trump International Hotel in downtown Chicago. This project featured a PVC system with Hanover Terrazzo pavers over the top. The most intense part of that project was the green roofs. As you can see there were 3 of those green roofs inside the PVC system, so we had to maintain watertight systems with our PVC system. Next, I'm going to hand it over to our safety coordinator, Ty Spillane, to talk a little bit about safety on the project.
Morning, everyone. My name is Ty Spillane. I am the safety coordinator here at Hilltop. As Adam previously mentioned, safety is of the utmost importance here at Hilltop. That being said, we put together some hazards that we want to recognize and make sure that we mitigate as much as possible. First, we have serious injuries and falls. From turbo rails to harnesses while up on the roof, we want to make sure that our workers are as safe as possible, and we have multiple different things in place to make sure that serious injuries and falls are not a problem on our job site. And if something does happen, we have multiple steps in place to mitigate issues and make sure that we have rescue plans in place. Being in Las Vegas, we obviously have to touch on the heat. Here in Las Vegas, we have altered our schedule to ensure that we're starting our project end of February and that our project is done by the end of May. We do not want to get into June. If it happens, it happens, but In June last year, in 2023, we saw that we reached 108-degree heat, which we don't want to put our workers through. So we want to ensure that we have multiple steps in place to make sure that we don't get there. And if we do, I'll touch on it a little bit, but we have multiple different things in place to tackle heat exhaustion. Human error. Here at Hilltop, anytime someone steps foot on our job sites, we ensure that they go through our rigorous safety program to ensure that they know all the rules and regulations that we're putting in place to make sure that no one is acting improperly or anything like that, and there's different repercussions in place as well for anybody that's acting unsafely. Next, we have equipment malfunction. Every single day, the superintendent and the safety coordinator walk through the site and check all of the equipment to ensure that all safeguards are put in place, as well as no malfunctions or defects or anything in the equipment to ensure that there is no possibility of equipment going wrong. As we are on a tight schedule, we want to make sure that everything goes as smoothly as possible. Lastly, we have controlled access zones. Obviously, being in the roofing industry, it's a very tough job, a little unsafe because you're up on a roof. So we have tons of controlled access zones that only qualified personnel will be allowed into. And then from there, even when there is a personnel inside the controlled access zones, there's a safety monitor watching over them to ensure that nothing else can go wrong while in there. Next, talking about the heat of Las Vegas, we want all of our employees on the field to understand the heat and the extreme weather here in Las Vegas. Every single employee of Hilltop Roofing and anybody on our job sites will be given a long sleeve, dry fit t-shirt that's high vis, as well as sunglasses to ensure that heat exhaustion and sun poisoning are not an issue, and we're mitigating it as much as possible. That being said, you'll see on our site-specific safety plan that we have shaded areas with tents, fans, hydration stations, full with water, electrolytes, Gatorades, to ensure that if someone does fall ill from heat exhaustion or sun poisoning, that they have an easy fix to go to. As I previously mentioned, the temperature increase as the summer goes on, so we want to make sure that we stay on schedule as much as possible, and that our employees are well aware of the heat and every single day the temperature that is here in Las Vegas. That being said, one thing that we're providing every single worker in the field is a Kenzin biometric sensor that they will wear on their bicep. This Kenzin biometric sensor will provide data to the safety coordinator on their laptop, on their phone, on their iPad, and they can watch in real time the core body temperature, heart rate, sweat rate of every single worker out in the field. So if their numbers are abnormal, they can be pulled into a hydration station or brought into the trailer to ensure that they do not fall ill from heat exhaustion or sun poisoning. I'd also like to touch on fall protection. Safety is obviously of the utmost importance here. So we first off have the Raptor Tri-Rex cart that will be on site at all times. It will be used during the installation of the turbo rail that outlines the entire perimeter of the roof, as well as anytime the turbo rail is being used or anytime that someone feels the need to be attached to the Tri-Rex safety cart. That being said, we also have harnesses that anybody up on the roof that's beyond the 5-foot safety limit has to be wearing as they're getting near to the edge of the roof. The harnesses will be secured to both the roof and the cart, or the cart, to ensure that any problems are mitigated as much as possible. That being said, we also have strict PPE enforcement. Every single employee of Hilltop is provided with a Hilltop hard hat, high-vis safety vest, as well as gloves and glasses to ensure that they're given all the equipment needed. We have a zero tolerance PPE. Anybody on our site is required to wear PPE, and if they do not, there is repercussions put in place. Every single day, the superintendent and the safety coordinator will walk through and ensure that harnesses and tools are all up to code to ensure that any problem regarding those safety measures are mitigated as much as possible as well. As you can see here, we have our site-specific safety plan. Every single morning, there is going to be, or anytime we're starting work, there is going to be a stretch of flex. We want to make sure that all of our workers are as limber as possible. If we're doing work that is focusing on a certain part of the body, like lifting pavers, we're going to make sure that we focus on back stretches to ensure that backs and everybody as limber as possible to try to mitigate injuries. Weekly toolbox talks will also take place where the safety coordinator and the superintendent walk around to each team, and this will kind of be an open forum for them to speak their opinion and let us know how they believe the project's going, how safety's going, anything that we can improve, because we always want to improve ourselves and work better with our employees out in the field. As you can see here, we have our safety app. This app will be kind of a go-to for everyone in the field to know exactly what is going on safety-wise day to day. So the safety coordinator will update this, and everybody in the field will have access to this, so they will know anytime there are incidences or near misses, and any other safety information that needs to be coordinated. As you can also see here, as I mentioned before, we have hydration stations both up on the roof and on the ground that we fill with Gatorade, water, electrolytes, as well as fire extinguishers, and we also have a disaster meet area that will be very clearly outlined to the entire workers in the field. It is right next to our job trailer by the entrance up at the top of the screen there. Something that we love to point out here at Hilltop is our awards and our certifications. We're very proud of everything we have accomplished, and we want to give credit to our employees because they're really the ones making the difference out in the field and giving us the best product possible. As you can see here, high-vis long sleeves are given to all foremen who complete the training of NCRA Pro certification. I actually just saw this high-vis long sleeve yesterday in the expo, so I was pointing it out. But as you can see here, all roofing employees are also required to complete OSHA 30, as well as all safety officers and foremen are required to be CPR and AED certified. Some awards that we have accumulated. We have the NRCA Gold Circle Award, as well as the Carlisle 2023 Police Back Champion Award. And something that we love to point out that we're very, very proud of is our EMR of 0.74. Love to turn it over to our superintendent now.
As mentioned previously, I'm Attilio Lovato. I'm the superintendent on the project. A little project overview. It features a 72 mil white fleeceback PVC system over top of a lightweight insulating concrete that is done prior to us showing up on site. It also features the Hanover Guardian pedestal paver system, and it's approximately 156,000 square feet. So for our execution plan, we split up into 5 phases to make it easier on our workers and more efficient. We're going to start off with the PVC membrane, and then on top of that is going to be the pavers following that membrane. We will have a crane that'll move from phase to phase to get materials up onto the roof. And then we're going to have a 4-wheel cart for the pavers, as the pavers weigh about 100 pounds apiece. We don't want to hurt our workers' backs any more than we are. So onto the schedule, our first day on site will be Monday, February 20th, with our final working day as May 24th. And our final day on site after demobilization will be June 6th. We will also have day shift followed by a night shift for all paver work to meet the demanding schedule Formula One gave us. So working at night, we want to make sure we have ample illumination on the roof for safe working practices. So we have crane lighting, light towers, and hard hat lights for all workers. We also want to make sure that our workers aren't getting tired up on the roof during night, so we will have night shift fatigue awareness for all of our workers and our safety officers. We also have a stretch and flex before the shift to make sure that their backs are nice and limber. And a little bit on the site logistics, we're going to have a 60-ton crane that'll move from phase to phase to get those pavers and any necessary materials up onto the roof. We're also going to have stair towers at each phase for easy access for the workers. We're also going to have an air-conditioned Connex box for any heat-sensitive materials in the Las Vegas heat, so we don't ruin any materials or adhesives that we may need. We also have multiple entrances and exits all over the site for easy in and out for deliveries and site parking. I'm now going to turn it over to our QA/QC manager, Ty.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ty Pylon. I am the QA/QC manager at Hilltop. So for this project, we have a guaranteed maximum price of $4.8 million. We have a material cost of $2 million for this project, a labor cost of $1.8 million for this project, and a general conditions cost of $882,000. That's going to include about equipment, warranties, and other such materials. So for our value engineering, we have a sister company called Hilltop Paving. They take old road materials and convert them into rooftop pavers. This allows us to increase the sustainability of our projects. It will help reduce the cost of this project by $101,000. It will also provide green and LEED opportunities for this project. For our QA/QC plan, we have a 3-phase QA/QC plan: the initial, the preparatory, and the follow-up phase. We will be conducting daily observations and inspections of all the work that is being completed on site, as well as daily observations and inspections of all the material on site at the moment. We'll also be inspecting every single shipment that comes into the site to ensure that it meets the project's minimum standards. So for our site-specific QA/QC and warranty info, we have a site-specific QA/QC form developed for every kind of delivery that we'll be getting on site to ensure that they meet the project standards. There is a 20-year Carlisle warranty for this project. We have a 2-year installer warranty for the roofing system, a 3-year contractor warranty for the pedestal paver system, and we've been conducting a final drone flyover of the project to ensure that the entire system is watertight.
With all that being said, we just want to thank the NRCA and the Roofing Alliance for allowing us to come out here and present to you guys, and we will now take any questions. Thank you.
Well, I have a question. First of all, well done, very well presented, great plan. You mentioned the pavers are 100 pounds a piece. How many pavers are you installing?
We're gonna have to go back and look at that, but as they're 4x4, I would assume there's a lot of pavers. We have an exact number, but we're gonna have to go back and look at the exact
Any
number.
idea of how many truckloads of pavers?
If I remember correctly, it's around 13 to 15 different truckloads of pavers coming to the site.
Okay. Of all those pavers that you're gonna install, 100 pounds a piece, how are you going to actually put them in place? I mean, that's a lot of weight for however you're gonna do it. How are you gonna put those pavers in place?
Our execution plan, which we outlined in our proposal, shows how many crew members we have on each team. And for each paver installment, we kind of have 2 guys to try and install 1 paver. So that's what we plan for, 2 guys moving a paver, installing it. So we hope that 2 guys in the cart that we have are able to move pavers on the roof and able to install them properly.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
Good morning. Like John said, great job, so thank you very much. And you actually did a great job of presenting your proposal, or your oral to the written. It was wonderful. My question has to do with inspections. And you have this drone flyover at the end, but the waterproofing part is the membrane that you've now covered with pavers. So do you have any inspections before you cover it all up? Scheduled?
Yeah, thank you for the question. That's a good question. As outlined in our execution plan, we have 5 phases. So after each phase of PVC membrane, there will be a little inspection, which will maintain watertight seals and no water penetration through the PVC system. And then the pavers will be installed over the PVC membrane, and then we will have a final flyover to ensure all watertight systems and an infrared scan to maintain that watertight system. Yeah, thank you for the question.
I have a question. So during our construction phase here, as you guys have acknowledged, we have a pretty aggressive schedule. We have a race coming up. And I want you guys to be aware there's gonna be a lot of activity in and around your workspace. So I like how you've mentioned you're probably gonna follow along the membrane pretty quickly with the pavers. But we're gonna have quite a bit of traffic up there. We have vendors that are gonna be putting in concessions. We have tenting that needs to be built. We have a lot of different stuff that's happening up there. I guess what I'm curious about is, do we need to be concerned about what's gonna be happening on top of your roof or on top of your pavers? How are we gonna manage that? What's gonna be a smart way for our team to deal with that reality of this job?
Yes, so obviously from a safety standpoint, that's huge because you have tons of vendors and different employers that are gonna be working on this building as we are. Since we're on a tight schedule, I presume everyone else is as well. So one thing that we're gonna do to mitigate those kind of issues is every single day, we have a detailed overview of what's going on the site that day. You know, we'll work with our colleagues in the field and ensure that we know exactly what's going on. Something that's detailed in our proposal is that every single day during the stretch and flex, we let our employees know what's going on. Obviously, our schedule, that's why we have extra days as well, just in case there is issues. Let's say someone else needs something going on, we can push back and we can kind of tweak our schedule as seen fit. But every single day, we're going to work with our colleagues in the field that is also working on this building to ensure that there is no safety issues. First and foremost, everyone's safety is of the utmost importance. Ensure that this building is done on time.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Yes, good job, gentlemen. One question that I have is, I see your schedule. What's the crew total manpower size on the roof at basically any one time?
So for all the roofing operations, we're gonna have 13 men, and then for the pavers, there's gonna be a crew size of 20. That's with 2 non-working foremen and a superintendent.
So 35, 37 people. Thank you.
Guys, mine's gonna be a little bit different. Now that you've had a chance to go on the floor here at our expo, in figuring this job, you had to go by the specifications. Did you see anything while you were on the floor that would lead you to tell us, there's a better idea we've got for this or that, we might be able to save you some money doing this, or we can give you a superior product if you will allow us to substitute? I just want to see what you got from the floor experience you had.
After one booth that we stopped at yesterday was the Carlisle booth, and they had EPDM, TPO, and PVC, all their systems on display. And this project, we know, is 72 mil PVC, so if you really want to dive into cost savings, we could drop down the mills a little bit, or we could alternate to TPO or EPDM, but that'd be something that we'd have to discuss with you guys as the owner.
Thanks. Of course, we're always concerned about the dollars, but we absolutely want the best product for the job, so it's not all dollars. Thank you.
Yeah, there's tons of different equipment and everything, like, cutting edge that we saw yesterday that we're gonna go take a peek at today as well, that, we love to kind of substitute and see what works best, but there's definitely a lot of cutting edge stuff in there for sure.
Thank you.
Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome. I've got a two-part question here. We have a very strong commitment to our safety culture within our organization. First part is, you see someone working unsafe, who has the responsibility to stop the work? And the second part is, when that person is found to be working unsafe, what is your disciplinary policy within your organization?
Yep, so I'll answer that right there. Obviously, we want everyone to abide by the safety culture that we're attempting to enforce. So that's, everyone can report. Obviously, reporting system will go directly to the safety coordinator and the superintendent that are on site at all times during all work. From there, we have different disciplinary actions that are detailed in our proposal, such as if someone is up on the roof and they are acting unsafely, if they're horsing around, that is immediate call for expulsion from the site, and which will lead to termination. If there is, PPE not being worn or anything like that, they will be removed from the site, and there will be a meeting to see what we want to do about their employment and potential termination as well. So we have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to horsing around, not acting safely, because we are on a very, very tight schedule, and we want to ensure that all this work is done properly, on time, but most importantly, safety first.
As part of your policy is also include retooling, re-educating the employee?
Yep, so something that we're going to be talking about at the toolbox talks is ensuring that everyone knows what's going on, they can use the equipment properly, they can use the tools properly, and make sure that everyone is kind of on the same page when it comes to that as well.
Thank you.
And just one last quick question, and Ty, might be for you, but the part of your proposal, you document exclusions, which are important because there's always gray areas between the subs, and then there's work maybe that the GC forgot and then somebody needs to do it. So what was your process to determine what exclusions went into your proposal?
I'll take that one.
Okay.
So the exclusions on our bid form, I think that's what you're talking about, right? So we as a company, we looked at all the project specs and the drawings, and we did what we normally do on projects like this, where we pick out what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. So So we took all of our roofing components, our sheet metal components, our paper components, and we say that we're gonna do all of those. Anything outside of that, we tell the owner and let them know clearly on our bid form so that they can hire someone to do that work.
Great, fantastic, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.